The first part of this video has some spoilers for the upcoming Pokemon Legends ZA game. No leaks or anything like that, but if you're avoiding trailers or any information about the game, official or otherwise, skip ahead to this part of the video. 12 years. 12 years since the concept of Mega Evolution first blessed the Pokemon fanbase with what would become the #1 obsession amongst Fakemon artists. 12 years since the first Dragonite joke was made, and for 12 years we have speculated wildly about what the real Mega Dragonite would actually be, or if it would ever be at all. And now, finally, after all this time, this is what we get. And I love it. This is such a fun concept for a Mega Dragonite that elevates all the things that make Dragonite so beloved. Yeah, it's not armored or covered in blades, it doesn't have angry eyes or giant claws, but I don't think that a good Mega Evolution just needs to make a Pokemon look stronger. A good Mega Evolution takes what we already love about a Pokemon and gives us more. For Dragonite, that means more cuteness, more levity, and a fun callback to its previous evolution, which, for the entirety of Dragonite's existence, has seemingly no shared features with its evolved form. But this new trailer for Legends ZA got me thinking. As much as I enjoy this Mega Dragonite design, I can't help but feel like it's not exactly what the people want. I mean, sure, people have been talking about the potential for a Mega Dragonite since I was in high school, and yeah, I bet a lot of people are really excited to finally see one in an official game, but it's just too easy. To me, the best Mega Evolutions are the ones given to Pokemon that would have otherwise fallen into obscurity. Glalie, Steelix, Kangaskhan, Audino, Pokemon that are rarely talked about both in terms of design and in the context of competitive battling. Their Mega Evolutions helped bring them back to the forefront of people's minds. What other Pokemon are out there that need that same boost, that same glow up that will not only get people more excited about their designs, but also about their potential to dominate in the OU tier? Don't answer that, I'm going to tell you. And I'm going to design some Mega Evolutions for these Pokemon that were totally not picked on the basis of personal bias. I don't expect any of these Mega Evolutions to ever become official. In fact, I kind of designed them with my fake Haba region in mind. I've always liked Mega Evolution the most out of any generational battle gimmick, so let me take this moment now to officially declare Mega Evolution as the battle gimmick of the Haba region. This is another case of me just following my joy. The new Legends ZA trailer dropped, and it made me excited about Mega Evolutions, and I literally woke up with an idea that I just had to share with you all. Can anyone guess what my first design may be? Let's think about this one. What Pokemon have I talked about more than once before on this channel? Which Pokemon have I confessed to have a significant soft spot for? Which underappreciated, underpowered, objectively unpopular Pokemon could I have selected to design a Mega Evolution for? That's right, it's Tropius. What, you thought I was gonna give Magikarp a Mega Evolution? Get out of here. Magikarp can't Mega Evolve. Nah, the muses told me to conjure up a Mega Evolution for Tropius. And not just Tropius, but with extra wings and sharp teeth. Mega Dragonite taught me that you don't have to look badass to be a Mega Evolution. This design would, like MD over here, take the parts of Tropius that I said Tropius. Cancel me. Take the parts of Tropius that I liked the most and bump them up a notch. It would also make much needed changes to the parts of Tropius that I wish were different. So, what do we like about Tropius? Well, obviously we love that it's a big old sauropod, that's not gonna change. We love its proportions and its personality, and, well, I guess I could only speak for myself, but my favorite part of Tropius is its neck nanners. Even without the context of Pokemon, the concept of a large, dinosaur-like plant monster that grows berries for people to eat is just a fun idea. It has so much potential, and I actually don't even mind that the bananas on Tropius's neck are kind of understated. But for the Mega, we're gonna play up that angle a bit. I also really like Tropius's flying type. I know that grass flying is awful, so many weaknesses, but there's something so charmingly original about a fruit tree dinosaur that can also fly. Like, Why did they want that to be part of this concept? Did they just design the Pokemon first and think that the big banana leaves on its back looked like wings? Did they just need more flying types and slapped wings on their design for the banana dinosaur? Whatever the case is, a strong visual of Tropius's wings twisting around each other like a cyclone of leaves came to me as if in a dream. I needed to incorporate that into this design. This card art by Taira Akitsu served as the inspiration for the pose of my Mega Tropius. I like how this stance implies that Tropius is able to just barely achieve enough lift to hoist its massive body off the ground. It plays with weight in a really fun way. It also helped me isolate the head of Tropius so that the focus of the design could be balanced between the Leaf Tornado wings and the Nab Nab Berry beard. But it's not just Nab Nab berries. I wanted Megatropius to have a wide selection of berries decorating its body, a physical trait that would reflect its signature ability. But we'll get to that later. I tried out a few different colors, but I more or less stuck with Tropius's default color scheme. Just a reminder, if you like the brushes I'm using in this video, they're available for purchase on our Gumroad. The link is in the description. They're a part of the Poketo Pack, a set of digital brushes designed by my wife Claire, specifically for emulating the official Pokemon art style. Now, normally I don't spend a lot of time talking about the stats of my Fakemon. I'm not very Pokemon Showdown pilled. I don't usually give a lot of thoughts to stats, abilities, and move pools outside of how they may further play into the themes of my visual design. However, with Megatropius here, the only thing I wanted to change from its original form, and the only thing about Tropius that I don't like, is its competitive viability. Now, my sister seems to think that there's nothing that could possibly redeem Tropius. It's just a bad Pokemon. But I think that with a boost to its stats, a slightly deeper move pool, and a unique and slightly overpowered ability, this bad boy could at least be viable. And I had what I thought was a great idea for an ability. Horticulturist, great name, right? When this Pokemon eats a berry, all of its stats raise by 1 stage. Holy moly, now tell me that's not a good ability. Even my skeptical, battle-proficient sister was impressed. That was until she pointed out a fatal flaw with the ability. Someone else figure this one out. I don't know. Maybe they're going to change it so that you don't need to hold a Mega Stone in the new games. Maybe not being able to actually hold a berry makes this ability slightly more balanced. You have to like set it up on a doubles team or something. Or I don't know. Maybe Tropius learns a new signature move that allows it to eat a berry without even holding one. Or maybe it just needs another ability. I don't know. I wanted a berry-themed ability that's stronger than just, like, Harvest. But I guess every ability that has to do with eating a berry is probably going to be next to useless on a Mega Pokemon. If any of you watching this are real battle nerds, let me know if there's any way I could make this work. If you think that this is a strong ability, or if you have some better way to make Tropius competitively viable. My main goal is to have the Bananasaurus not suck. Leave your thoughts and ideas down below in the comments. So, Tropius was my self-indulgent pick, but what else do the people want? Well, let's ask them. Actually, Chimecho and Tropius hold a similar place in my memory from Gen 3. As a kid, I loved rare Pokemon. Encountering a Chimecho on Mount Pyra was indescribably exciting for me when I was younger. And Tropius? Well, I straight up thought that thing was a legendary. But Chimecho is beloved for a whole different reason than Tropius. Where Tropius strikes a nice balance between tough and gentle, Chimecho is 90% cute and like 10% mystical. It gives serious, Spirited Away vibes, sort of uncannily serene, but overall appealing enough so that you don't feel threatened by it. This is the element of its design that I wanted to elevate the most. To go for a look of almost religious significance, like a sculpted idol brought to life. Benevolent, for the most part, but a little mischievous, too. Like, if it does end up helping you, it's probably just an unintended side effect of its devious behavior. This wouldn't be a Mega Evolution that expressed strength physically. I didn't want to make Mega Chimecho this hulking sound golem. That would be a complete contradiction to the original design. The increase in battle strength would instead be represented by an emphasis on the aspects of Chimecho's design that we already love. A larger, more elaborate looking bell, more bells overall, and additional ribbons so that we didn't lose the implication of how light the Pokemon is. It will still blow gently in the wind, even in this Mega form. I didn't change much about the colors of Mega Chimecho, but I did spend a good amount of time trying to convey a weathered, metallic look for the big bell on the top of its head. Since this would be the main focus of this design, I wanted to have it read clearly as aged bronze. I made this for Claire, but I actually really like it. I would have never designed a Mega for Chimecho without a prompt, but spending time with the Pokemon has given me a newfound appreciation for its original design and the potential for other forms. Now, as far as making our little bell here competitively viable, I think that a high special defense stat is incredibly appropriate for the Pokemon that is inspired by spell tags and shrine bells. I upped that stat to rival that of Deoxys's defense form, and pushed it just a little bit further into the OP zone by making its ability basically just a passive light screen that's active as long as Mega Chimecho is on the field. I may have gone too far with this one. It may be straight up broken. Or not. I really don't know. It seems really strong. My other idea for an ability might have been even more OP. I was gonna make it immune to ghost and dark type moves, just like fully immune. Yeah, I'm saying that out loud, and it's definitely way too OP. But part of my goal with this project was to make competitively non-viable Pokemon way stronger. And when I asked some of my other friends which of their favorite underpowered Pokemon they think deserved a Mega Evolution, I got this suggestion. I'd say that, if not for Slitherwing, Venomoth might be my favorite moth/butterfly Pokemon. Part of the appeal, though, is how underappreciated it is. Even in the generation it originated from, I feel like it's overshadowed by Butterfree, and I think that every other moth or butterfly Pokemon tends to outdo it in popularity. Now, I think we can all agree that the most popular moth Pokemon out there is Volcarona. It's not unwarranted. I mean, I think it is a cool design, and I like how unusual the method used to obtain it was in Black and White. However, I do think that the main reason it's so popular is because it's the only moth or butterfly to ever be even a little bit competitively viable. It's a strong Pokemon. It has good stats, a decent move pool. Its typing is a little unfortunate, but other than that, it's a solid choice in the competitive scene. How could we get Venomoth to that same level? Well, let's start with looks. This is going to sound a little crazy, but Venomoth's head has just always read as draconic to me. Those 3 large horns and its little fangs, I don't know, it just gives old school kaiju vibes. I played that up a little bit in the face, but left its big, emotionless eyes. I really like those too. Other than that, the rest of Venomoth's design is kinda lackluster. It doesn't do anything interesting with the wings, which is where you'd think a moth design would focus in on the most. In its Pokédex entries, though, they describe the tiny poisonous scales that Venomoth sheds from its wings. This is completely absent from its design in any way, so I wanted to have this become our main focus. I played around with some wing designs where it looked like the wings themselves were actually falling apart, like they were so toxic that even Venomoth itself was affected by them. Then a different thought hit me. I know that putting eye markings on a butterfly's wings is about as original as giving your dragon fire breath, but hear me out. What if the patterns on its wings worked in tandem with its poisonous spores? What if inhaling its scale dust not only poisoned your body, but your mind? Imagine how terrifying it would be if a 5-foot-tall moth caused you to have psychedelic hallucinations and the eyes on its wings started to look real. I left the wings fragmented, that way the silhouette would still read as eyes or even a mask, but condensed the fragments into 2 large shapes nestled within each wing. I kept the deteriorated look of my earlier sketches, but refined it a bit so that the lower pair of wings created a toothy maw with the negative space. I had a lot of fun coloring this one. I didn't change much about the palette, but I did spend a lot of time adding subtle details to the rendering of the wings. I wanted them to look shimmery, iridescent, and of course, frightening. I do love the contrast between the menacing faux eyes on the wings and the vacant, downright derpy expression of the face. Like, Mega Venomoth doesn't even know how dangerous it is. It just flaps its big wings and gives people Walmart Benadryl overdose hallucinations. Its new signature ability would reflect this trait, making it so that any move it uses to poison an opponent will also confuse them. Should be really fun to battle against. I also think it should have a fun signature move like Scale Storm, that's like a poison version of Surf with a chance to poison whoever gets hit by it. There's a Project Untamed balance team developer just banging their head against a wall right now as I let out my inner 5-year-old and come up with terrible ideas for Pokemon abilities. I do encourage anyone with any semblance of experience balancing Pokemon stats to give me their feedback on all of these Pokemon and their battle spreads. Again, I just want them to be viable. They don't necessarily have to be OP. Well, all except for one. One final special surprise and my most self-indulgent choice for a Mega Evolution. Yeah, this time I am talking about Magikarp. You know how everyone shits on Charizard for getting so much attention from the Pokemon Company? 2 Mega Evolutions, a G-Max form, a front and center seat in almost every new Pokemon product. How come Eevee doesn't catch any of that heat? Eevee got a whole game named after it, its own G-Max form, a unique Z-move that was incredibly overpowered, its own TCG sets, and more physical merch than any one DeviantArt Sparkle Wolf artist could ever buy. Magikarp deserves this kind of attention. I know that its whole bit is that it sucks, but what if its redemption is not evolving into a whole other Pokemon, but Mega evolving on its own to become as powerful as Gyarados without having to change what it is forever? Yes, I know. As of right now, there are no Pokemon that can evolve that can also Mega Evolve. It's unprecedented, I understand that. But things can change. Maybe in Legends ZA they'll give Pikachu a Mega Evolution, and if they do that, they'll probably give Eevee one too. It doesn't sound so crazy when I phrase it that way, does it? I know, it's the biggest copium since I thought they'd make Shyvana a buff muscle mommy in her VGU. So, like Shyvana, I am going to give this personal favorite of mine a new design that I know it'll never get officially. I'm not kidding when I say that I like Magikarp more than I like Gyarados. I think that a koi with draconic features is actually way cooler than just a straight-up dragon. So, Mega Magikarp will retain its small fish-like body, but gain a few of Gyarados' physical features like its tri-horned crest and its jagged spines. It'll also have a flowing, wispy mane like the mist from a waterfall. I wanted the overall shape and movement of Mega Magikarp to mimic that of Gyarados' serpentine body without actually changing its anatomy. This is one of those designs that's like 50% a joke and 50% sincere. Like, I know this whole concept is stupid, but I also want it to be real so badly. Magikarp is my all-time favorite Pokemon, and I would love it more than anything if my shiny, sports ball, extra-large Destiny Mark Magikarp was completely viable. Oh, and that reminds me, if this Mega form was ever in an official game, I would also expect the shiny to be a reflective metal gold texture like in Scarlet and Violet. Biggest buff that Magikarp has ever received. Okay, so let's talk OP stats. Mega Magikarp has an identical BST to Mega Gyarados, but has a higher special attack than it does physical. It's also the first Mega Evolution to have a stat boost of over 100 points, instead having its stats boosted by 440 points, and having a BST higher than a lot of legendaries. It's also a Dragon type now, so it's got that going for it. As far as move pool goes, I would have to imagine that Magikarp would need more than a stat boost to make it viable. Like, it can only learn, I think, like 4 or 5 moves in total. Maybe some NPC in the Haba region can teach your Magikarp Draco Meteor if it's level 100 and has max friendship. Maybe Magikarp needs to be level 100 to Mega Evolve at all. Maybe Magikarp just becomes a little less useless and can learn Hydro Pump at level 95 now. I don't know. The really OP thing I gave it, though, is this signature ability, which makes it immune to Dragon-type moves and gives it a speed boost when it's hit by one. Consistent Pokemon Showdown players must be absolutely grinding their teeth at this point. If you could just have this Pokemon without actually having to get a Magikarp to level 100, it's gotta be the most OP thing in the game. Or maybe not, I don't know, I literally don't know. It seems really, really strong, but I actually don't know enough about competitive Pokemon battling to really know for sure. But you know, if it is way too OP, good. These are my self-indulgent megas in celebration of the upcoming Pokemon Legends ZA, and as the first mega evolutions to be added to the Haba region. What are some undertuned, underappreciated Pokemon that you love and think that deserve a mega? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching this video. Smogust has officially begun, so for the rest of this month, I'm going to be focusing on that project. This year's Smogust has a fun Pokemon-inspired twist to it, so if you are interested in seeing the designs that I create and the story that I write, be sure to keep an eye out on community posts and any uploads that I make during the month of August. Thank you to all of our patrons and channel members. The exclusive video you picked for July will be up and available soon. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.